Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so it's hot, but not as hot as it's been these last 2 days. It's actually cooling off. It's only 102, but I'm still not going out there. So all the content I'll be doing will likely be done in this room. Maybe I'll go across the street, get something to eat. Other than that, I'm right in here with this air conditioning. But yeah, man, I want to talk some NBA stuff. I also wanted to make a therapy session, so I didn't know which one I wanted to do. But it'll be NBA here. Jamal Murray got 208 for 4 years. I'm a believer in Jamal Murray's game, man. I am. I'm not a believer in his health per se, but I do think that that's about what you would expect to pay him at this point. NBA champion, proven playoff performer, Laker killer extraordinaire. If you can keep him on the floor, he's one of the most lethal basketball playing killers in the game. When you talk about killer instinct, he comes to mind for me. Now, I know he had a very, very bad Olympics, from what I understand. He was awful in the Olympics. I also know he's been dealing with an injury that he tried to play through in the playoffs, so I'm pretty sure he probably should have set the Olympics out, to be honest with you, and let that for which needed to heal. But he played, and I thought it was understood that he shot poorly. I didn't see any of the games myself. I didn't lay a single eye on a single basket that he shot, but I know it was bad from what was told to me. So I'm rolling with that, but I don't think there's any other choice for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, they're a team that needs to have weapons around Jokic that can catch and shoot the ball. Obviously, you got Porter, who's always going to be able to do that, and you need Murray to solidify yourself as a contender. So they took care of that. I do not know that I can call them a definite contender, but shave a few role players, add a few role players, and they're right back to contention. The point is that core of those three plus Gordon should, in theory, be always enough to put the right stuff around and then from there compete. So I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumors about their coach having issues, Mike Malone, with the front office. So I think this comes in a timely fashion to assure that they at least solidify the players that they want in rotation. Losing KCP I thought was rough. Losing Bruce Brown was rough. Their rookie going down with an Achilles injury, the rookie out of Dayton, Deron Holmes, of whom I really, really liked a lot. But unfortunately, he went down with an Achilles injury. One has to wonder what type of career he's going to have since he had a career-altering injury like that out the gate before the season even starts, and freaking first game of Summer League. I mean, it was just unbelievably devastating. And when you consider he's a rookie that's already been in college for 4 years, that really hurts bad. And they traded up to get him. On top of that, they were targeting him. We were hearing all the rumors about them trying to go after this player. And they were going to trade up, and they eventually did with Phoenix to get him in like the 26th pick or something like that, only for him to go down immediately. And he was having a good game in the Summer League, ironically enough. He was really having a good game in that game. So I don't know what his future holds. When a guy has a Achilles tear, it's like you don't know if they'll ever be the same again. So that decision to go after him on paper looked great, but the reality of it was a nightmare, especially when you consider what all they've lost, what role they thought he was going to play. And for me, I said it was misguided. I love the player as much as the next person. In fact, I had him as somebody I wanted the Lakers to draft. Dodged that bullet. But nevertheless, it's not like I wasn't high on the player, but when you consider they got Gordon, and of course they got Jokic, and they got Porter, Holmes fits. But to target him as a player of need when you have some of the issues that they have, they should have been going after somebody who could play some perimeter defense and replace KCP. Maybe somebody who could hit a jump shot at a guard position, at the 2-guard spot. That was probably, or a large power forward, not power forward, a large small forward with power to him is essentially what I'm defining. Terrence Shannon type player would have been what I would have wanted if I were the Denver Nuggets, if I couldn't find that catch and shoot guy. Johnny Furphy, somebody who could play some wiry basketball but also be a nice catch and shoot player for them. I think Holmes would have been great in the catch and shoot situation, but he's redundant in the sense that you're not going to have him on the floor when those other guys are on the floor. You know, obviously Jokic, he'd be in rotation with him, but he's your first guy off the bench. For me to be trading up to target a piece, I need to close holes in my roster, not necessarily just go after another piece that's going to ultimately keep Gordon's backup minutes going. That's not. I thought that was a good piece to have, but not when you have needs, like real needs. That shooting guard position was a serious need for them. It's particularly someone who can catch and shoot and play some defense. I like Christian Braun, but I don't love Christian Braun. Not for what their problem's going to be. Relying upon him as much as they're likely going to have to. He can't shoot. Nice, strong player at the shooting guard position. Can rebound the ball. Definitely somebody I want to pound people. You know what I mean? He's going to definitely defend. He's strong enough to guard people that are really, really powerful in nature. If I need somebody to guard LeBron, I don't mind Christian Braun being on him. Paolo Banchero, I can throw him on him. Anthony Edwards, I can throw him on him. So I value Christian Braun, but the problem is just like my own guy Vanderbilt, if he can't hit a shot, it becomes a bit of a problem. And when that system that they have in Denver, he's just not the greatest weapon. And then they go after Russell Westbrook, who we know of as a shooter of bricks, many bricks, turnover machine. You know, I respect Brody, but I watched him for a year and a half, so I'm not going to accuse him of being a genius out there on the basketball floor. I don't think he fits Denver at all. And so when you put all these things together, losing KCP, losing Bruce Brown the year before that, the draft pick goes to waste, and you're bringing in Brody, I don't understand what Denver's doing. And if I'm Jamal Murray, I took the bag with a team that I'm historically with, that drafted me, but I don't know that I'm going to win another championship with them, and I don't know what the future necessarily holds. I do like our foursome, but eventually it stands to reason why that thing's going to slowly break apart. Porter could potentially bounce on the next contract. Gordon may eventually move on to a different situation. You know what I mean? You're already losing pieces. So I like Watson off the bench. He looks like he's going to be a ferocious defender going forward. Out of UCLA, he's definitely shown me plenty against my Lakers that makes me excited about his future. But is he a piece that's going to just help what the Nuggets are, which is a team that centers around Jokic, either scoring in the paint, overpowering people, or shooting the three himself and scoring that way, or obviously doing the Magic Johnson thing at 7 feet tall. He needs shooters around him. He needs people that are going to be highly efficient around him to make what he does make as much sense as possible. And so the only two players that I really see that fit that bill at this point are Porter and Murray, and I can't count on either one of them to stay healthy. So I think the Nuggets could potentially fall off a cliff. I would not be surprised if the Nuggets don't even make the playoffs this year. I also wouldn't be surprised if they were a fantastic team and win 60 games, because the Nuggets tend to figure it out, and they do have that foursome that is reliable. But that rotation around them, it don't fit like they need it to fit. It ain't fit like the last couple of years, and they're going to have to do some real soul searching to try to make that team look the way it used to look, man. Without KCP on the perimeter defending and hitting 3-point shots off the catch, being good in open court situations. And then you gonna put the Brody out there and all them damn turnovers and all them bricks and all those bad shots that he tends to take. And what are you asking him to be, the starting shooting guard? Or are you asking him to come off the bench? And when does he get to be himself? If Jokic's gonna be on the floor for a good 40 minutes out of the game, does he fit with Jokic? Not in my mind's eye, he don't. That's a nightmare. And the thing that bothers me is, like, they really wanted Brody. Like, I get it. He's a Hall of Famer who puts a lot of pressure on the rim. He could be good with the young guys. Brody is a great locker room guy, a great guy for the community. It's a lot of reasons to want Brody around. But when you talk about the specific system of the Denver Nuggets, and then you consider their front office targeting this player, you have to wonder what the hell the front office is actually thinking. Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Why are you targeting Brody? Why are you targeting DeRon Holmes when you have shooting guard issues? Why wasn't KCP paid? Why wasn't Bruce Brown retained? These are why did you trade Reggie Jackson for a bag of peanuts when you didn't have a backup point guard? You still don't necessarily have a backup point guard, if my mind's eye is telling the truth. Maybe they did sign somebody. I don't think they did, though. So, like, to me, it just seems like the Denver Nuggets front office is turning them back into the Denver Nuggets of old, which is not a good basketball team at all. And if I'm Jokic, I'm starting to wonder, just like Steph Curry, if my future long-term is going to be in this place. or would I be best to start looking for greener pastures elsewhere? Staying on one team means a lot to a lot of these Pantheon great guys. They're going to go down with the ship because that's their ship. And they feel like don't matter who I'm playing with, I'm the greatest player this alive, whatever, I can make anybody go. But that's not the reality of what they run into, and they end up being in bad situations for a little while. Maybe a long while. And so this is Jokic's prime. He's coming into his prime, rather. I don't think he's quite there yet, but he's probably going to be there coming up very soon. He's one of the best players, if not the best basketball player in the world. I don't particularly love Denver for him anymore. I'm just going to be honest with you. That doesn't mean I expect him to leave, but it does mean that if he's thinking like I'm thinking, it's time to start dreaming of leaving, basically. Maybe I'm just a disloyal fan. But if the situation deteriorates and I'm starting to see my front office doing stuff that I don't agree with, I'm not going to waste my limited time. I'm only going to play for 15 years, 20 years at the most. I'm not going to waste 7 to 8 years with a bad front office making terrible moves that I can see suck as they're making them. You know, dreaming up stuff that doesn't fit my game. No, I'm not. I'm probably going to leave, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm probably going to leave. Because the moment my value dips to the ground, they're going to trade me away. The moment suddenly I can't do for them what they used to me doing for them, now they shopping me in trade rumors. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's above that in this league as it pertains to superstars. You can go down with an Achilles injury, turn into a role player overnight. Your body can dissipate into a different thing that you didn't, as time hits you, and suddenly you are Brody. You know what I mean? Jumping around from team to team after being an MVP, breaking all types of records. Nobody's above turning into a nobody in this league. I've seen it too many times. So when you have the leverage and you're playing your best ball, in my humble opinion, it don't make a whole lot of sense to be loyal, because the loyalty is one way. It's one way. And if I'm a guy like Jokic, I'm telling you what I'm asking for: a no trade clause. I want full autonomy. I want power in this organization. I don't want them to ever be able to move me if I commit to them in this situation. When I know that they're starting to do stuff that doesn't make any sense and likely going to have to start firing people to make things good again, that's when I start saying, okay, give me a no trade clause. Give me a no trade clause. Because if I go down with 2 knee injuries in a row, I want to be able to dictate where I go. If something happens to me when my body deteriorates, I want to know that they can't send me to Sacramento, that they can't send me to Toronto, they can't send me to Orlando, or whatever the hell they were going to do. You got to take, and that's something that if I'm Jokic, I have the leverage to do with the Denver Nuggets. I have that. I have that pretty much anywhere in the league as a 3-time MVP and an NBA champion. So I don't know where Jokic's mind is as it pertains to the Denver Nuggets. Like I said, people feel loyal to the teams that they've been with, feel loyal to the fan bases. I can appreciate that as a diehard fan of a team. But when you start talking about how quickly one's prime can dissipate and how fast you can find yourself on a bad team because of bad moves, especially in the apron era, for which it's hard to make moves, you get stuck to the wrong stuff, you're in trouble. So I don't know, man. If I'm Jokic, I want a no trade clause, man. I'm not demanding a trade. I'm telling you that I want all the power in the world in this organization. I want the power to say, if for some reason something goes wrong, I dictate where I land. If I want to go play in Dallas, if I want to go play for the Lakers, if I want to go play for the Knicks, all of those teams are likely going to be happy to bring me in. I don't want these guys taking the best bid, because they're doing stupid stuff that's ultimately going to make my team suck. You understand what I'm saying? And because of it, I deserve the power if I'm going to decide to stay here. You know what I'm saying? Through the thick of it all. Same thing with Steph Curry. And look, I'm an advocate for not giving people no trade clauses as a GM mind, because I think that they hurt the overall asset class. As I've described on numerous occasions on this channel, if you have a no trade clause next to other pieces, that can be used against you and leverage in regards to making trades for other pieces. That no trade clause is an unmovable piece. And so it's a piece that the other person that's on the other side of the negotiation table doesn't have access to. And that can be docked against because of it. They can dock you for not having that piece available to them. Happens all the time. Any little thing to have leverage. So that's why I don't necessarily think people should be giving away no trade clauses all willy-nilly. But when you talk about players that are ultimately planning to stay with the team for the rest of their careers, if I'm on the player side, I demand that. Especially if I'm of the caliber of Jokic and Steph Curry and LeBron James. If I'm Joel Embiid. If I'm the best player on the team and I got MVPs to my name and championships to my name, in that level, I need a no trade clause. Because I don't want since I want to be here for the rest of my career, I don't want anybody who decides that it's in their best interest to move me to have that leverage against me. Because it's a privilege in and of itself to have me for any of you damn teams. So if I decide I want to be with this one team for the rest of my career, that's in my hands for the rest of my career, or for at least the duration of the contract. I'm this great. Somebody represented contract price says that I'm this fantastic of a player. Damn it, bad GM number 2 over here who's about to be fired in 2 years for the stupid stuff he's doing today, he ain't gonna have the right to move me. So that's what I think Jokic should be demanding. I think other players of that caliber should demand that too. Especially if they have injury issues or they're big guys whose bodies tend to deteriorate fast. Yeah, y'all, Embiid should want one. Jokic should want one. Steph should want one. I'm just being honest. And there are a couple guys who are going to get paid a lot of money I don't necessarily think that about. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's some names I deliberately did not name who probably think they're in that category. I don't think so, buddy. Just because they paid you such and such and such does not mean you need a no trade clause. But certain players of a certain caliber who have a certain fragility to their body and a desire to stay with one place for the rest of their career, or at least not be able to be shipped somewhere they don't want to go, they need to have a no trade clause. That's how I feel about that. And I'm telling you like this, there are certain players in this league as well. I think of one guy specifically, Victor Wembanyama. I think he might have the leverage to demand something like that on this contract. I think he might. Not that anybody would trade him anyway, so it probably ain't the most important thing to a guy like Victor. Who's in their right mind going to trade me? But the point is, if they do decide to trade you, you have the right to tell them no, not to that particular place. And while a lot of guys have that leverage anyway, by the back channels of the representative companies that they have representing them, I still think it's smart for them with the changing climate of things, with the CBA bound to change again. You don't know what teams are going to need to do or want to do. If you don't want to have to move your kids out of school and go to freaking Boston or wherever, you may want to just go ahead and just make sure that thing is on your on their books under your contract name. So that's what I got to say, man. I'm advocating for teams to not give away no trade clauses to just role players and guys. Never again should a Bradley Beal ever get a no trade clause. I don't care if it's a team that can't get anybody. You should never do that. Not for a guy like Bradley. No disrespect, but there's no way in hell he should have ever had that. But LeBron, Joel, Jokic, Wemby, those are probably guys I would say should be okay with having. Steph Curry, they should have no trade clauses. Or they should want them with their respective teams if they really want to stay there, or if they think there's a chance they could get traded and end up somewhere they don't want to be. So that's what I think. And the list is probably expanded a little bit, but not much after that, to be honest with you. I don't expand that list much further than that. You got to be a unique piece, man. With all due respect to some really great players, if I can find another you probably ain't getting a no trade clause. But if I can't find another you, yeah, if I'm on your side, we're going to advocate for that. And we're going to press the issue hard. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You ain't about to move me if I'm Steph Curry to the freaking Bucks, fam. Unless I want to be there. But you're not about to do that. You know what I'm saying? I won't play for the Lakers. Damn it, that's the only place you're sending me. And if you don't like it, my no trade clause tells you that you're going to have to like it. Or I'm staying right here as I intended to. I don't care if you want to move me. I don't care if it's in your best interest to get out of my timeline. I don't care. Trade the kids. I'm staying here for my reasons. You don't like it? Quit. So I tell GM, you don't like it? Quit. You know what I'm saying? If the owner don't want me to be here and I desperately want to be here, we're going to negotiate that. Because this no trade clause ain't getting waived until I see this, and this. Yeah. So I think people would be very glad I'm not in the NBA as a basketball player. That's what I think. I think people would be very glad I'm not in the NBA or a agent representing some super duper star. I think you're very glad of that because I'd be on y'all case, man. BDO 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.